I read something about how the crunch of the games industry translates to 6-7 day work weeks, a minimum of 12 hours a day. What's your opinion on perpetual crunch culture in the game and dev industry? I am generally very against the recent trend of overworking in America. I think it is one of the major problems that we have to contend with. And the idea of it being like a badge of honor that you work harder is really bad. So I have been lucky enough, been fortunate enough to be able to talk to a lot of CEOs and C-level people at both like Riot Games, Twitch, like game developer studios at Bethesda. And the trend that I see in game development and tech in general is a solid lack of KPIs. So when I say KPI, what I mean is a key performance indicator. I've talked about this on stream a few times. What a key performance indicator is, it's a goal, basically. It's a means of tracking what and when we are accomplishing. And I've talked a lot about objective goals, okay? So you could say something like, I want to lose weight, okay? Or actually, let me make this in a business way. We want to increase our revenue this year. How does this goal sound? I would say that it's great that we actually have a goal. and that right there is an improvement, believe it or not. A lot of companies don't even get this far. But this is a pretty bad goal, right? Because it doesn't really say anything objective about what we're going to do or how we're going to accomplish this. So let's change this around a lot, right? Let's say we want to increase our revenue through store sales this year. Okay, that's a little bit better. You've specified. How about we want to increase revenue by 20% through store sales this year? Okay, now we have a good number attached. Do you see what I'm doing? It's like and I can get really specific with this, where it's like increase revenue by 20% through retail store sales. And then you can have sub with like this team's focus is X, right? And you assign each team to these objectives and KPIs. The most tech companies and game developer companies just don't have this kind of structure. Their managers just aren't trained. And to a large extent, their C-level executives are not trained on this kind of thing. They don't know how to do this. And so as a result, what happens is you have these crunch times. You have long periods of time where nothing is really happening because nobody really has objectives. Then you realize that you've set one of these vague goals, which is like, we want to release a game by June 2019, right? And then you realize that it's like April and you're like 60% done. So as a result, you crunch for like 2 months super hard and you get these like really bad release schedules, lots of bugs, bad Q&A. And this is, I'm sure like every person in this chat has experienced this. Like when you have a game release that just doesn't feel finished or doesn't feel like it should be or isn't what the developers originally intended, it's because they didn't have a good way of tracking those objectives or goals throughout the development process. And that leads to these insane work days. But this is all overlaid by a sort of cultural expectation of working really hard. And I want to be really clear that I work 7 days a week. I'm in here every day. I'm here Saturday. I'm here Sunday. I'm here at least 12 hours a day, if not more. But I don't need to be. I'm here because I want to do that. Something that's like really cool for me to do. I legit love broadcasting. I love being on YouTube. I love being on Twitch, and I love working in the industry of live streaming and everything that I do here at Nerd Fusion. It's great. I choose to do this over other time. It's healthy for me because that's my thing, okay? I don't think I'm better than anyone else for doing that. It's just what I want to do. I don't know what else I'd be doing if I didn't do that. The idea that people need to work like more than 40 hours a week and that is somehow like better is a really bad idea because there's been so many studies that have been done that have shown that with the current state of automation and industry, we just don't need to work that hard. We just don't. Like the world will function without people working that hard in America. And it's disturbing to me when I see these tech and game developers working that many hours. But what the articles miss about it is that it's completely avoidable. That's what I think nobody really talks about. Everybody talks about them working all those hours, and there's this kind of like ethical thing of like, well, should they work those hours and not? If you pull a lot of those game developers aside, they'll tell you they're like me. They'll be like, yeah, I don't mind being in the office 7 days a week. I like doing it. And then like more power to you if you want to do that. I totally support those people. The thing that nobody talks about is that is actually not necessary, because if you structured your goals and your objectives better as companies, you would be able to accomplish these things. And this is a really big issue in tech companies and game companies that nobody really talks about.